Now come back home. So make we see wetin be if statements and why you need if statements anyway. If statement now one of the most common things we're going to do for programming, for every programming language, they always get their if statements. And if statements now just wait to they tell computer today do something if something happen. And if something else happen, make the computer or make the code do something else. That's not the only thing where if statement they do. So make we see how we fit do. Looking at this my VS Code, if I say I get a variable, so I'll still say this variable make me assign them to age. So I'll just say age, and I will just say make the age be 18. I will just assign this variable and then close them, and then make we use an if statement for here. So I could just say, okay, if parentheses, and inside this parentheses, what we want to be say, we want to write the condition inside here. We want to say if something happen, then make something happen. So if age is greater than 18, or make we say greater than or equals to 18, then we want to execute a code. We want to do something. So we could just write a block, right? We dey try say we want to write inside this block. All right, no be object though, now block be this. So once we write that like this, we'll say, okay, inside this block for here, make we do something. So what do we want to do? Well, we just want return something. For example, we just say console.log, and then we go log out, you are old enough. And if we save them, now this console log, it go only work if age dey equals to 18. So if I change this age now to 8, for example, you see say the code no dey work again. So how we go take know say this code it dey work and it no dey work? Now that time you go use the else statement. So if you just say else, and inside this else block, you go just say console log, make we just console log such message, and then make we just say you are not old enough, right? So if you just say if he less pass 18, then you know old reach, or if he pass 18, now he old pass or now he old enough. So that are waiting we dey try do for here with the if else statement. Then make we say we want check if the age na teenager, you understand, or na pass 10 years old, but you no reach 18. Oh, so we go say okay, want do else if. Once we do it like that, we feel write our expression for here, for our conditions for here. Age is less than 18, and age is less than 5. And then we save that. So if we say make we console log something for here, so if you just duplicate this code, and then make we see what we get. So we go say age is not defined. Sorry, not aga, but age. Age. Okay. So we go say age is not defined. So what did happen? We say because we get 18 and age no dey less than 5, make we even make am 8 for here, and then age is not less than 8, right? That's why we see say we get this function here. So you go say, make I write and say you go soon old. You go soon old enough. So if you save it like that, you go see say we get that value like that. But the moment our age change to 7, you go see say it don't fire this function for here, right? So always they know how you want to use your if else statement. Likewise, if people wrap them inside a function, and then this function, you could just pass them dates. As you pass them dates or age, you could just tell you, say, oh, this not old, oh, this not young. So make we try it down for here. So make we just say, because it is VS Code, I could just highlight the whole code for here, then press Control up for my keyboard, and then we could just extract them as a global scope function. Then we could just say this function I find age, for example. Now this find age function, anytime when we call them, we want a passing in value, right? Now that time we could say, okay, this function, you go to take in age, and this age, we go to pass and say anything when we do, make it just they tell us age, make it just tell us based on the age. So anytime we call this function for here now, anytime we call this find age function, we want make it they tell us the age. So we go say find age 20, and then make we console log out. So we go say console log find age 20. But what we want to say, we want to return the values for here. Return string, and then another one, return, because remember, say I tell you, say we need to return, so because it's a function, and then make we write the last return. If we don't press save now, you see, say now our function it will work as we expect. So anytime when we console log name, find age, and we pass in an age like 4, I pass in another one and say this age now it is less than 8, so if we just say 9. For people we get age of 20, for inside this our function here, people get age of 20, the if statement, they help us, they check. If they reach 20, it goes tell them, say, you're old enough. If they pass 18, which now 20, it go tell them, say, you are old enough. But if you tell them, say, oh, now 4 years old, or now 5 years old, or be this person, it go tell us, say, oh, okay, now, you know, old reach. And if you say the person now like 9 or so, based on the code we write for here, it go come tell us, say, this person no reach enough. So if I clean this code for here and save that, you see say now our if statement, they work inside this our age function. And you see say we even define local variables for here, and you go see work the same. But for now, that's all we need to learn. I will see you now for the next video. Thank you.